Hey Cultivator, welcome back to the Cultivate Your Career channel, where every Thursday we dish out a new video on job search tips, mindset hacks, productivity tools, and career advice. So if you have not yet hit subscribe and hit the bell to be notified, be sure to do that. And let's dive into today's video around employment gaps. We're going to discuss all things employment gaps because I know after coaching thousands of job seekers, these are really scary for us. Whether it's we're afraid to put it on a resume because we're worried about the judgments that an employer is going to make on why we were voluntarily or involuntarily let go, or we're worried about it during the interview stage when they start to probe about why did you leave? Why did you leave? Why did you leave this position? So the good news is that employment gaps aren't as bad as you think they are, and I'll explain more of that in this video today. But I just want to share that I myself have employment gaps on my background, and again, it's not something that I shine a light on and put the emphasis and focus on, but it is there, and I have good reasons and explanations for each one of them. And so that's really the point of this video today, is helping you understand from a recruiter and hiring manager's perspective on how you can address this so that it doesn't send red flags, but instead you can utilize what your situation is to your advantage. With that being said, let's dive into this week's video. So again, employment gaps are not really that big of a deal unless you have a lot of them, meaning that there's a pattern of you joining a company, let's say for a year to 2 years, and then you have a break, and then you have another one from 1 to 2 years, and then you have another break, and then 1 to 2 years and another break, and it's like this continuous cycle or pattern. That's when generally, yes, employers are going to start questioning, like, what is this pattern about? And you better have a good reason and explanation for that. But generally speaking, if it's really, you were laid off, you had a merger and acquisition that made your position redundant, you moved to another state, you decided to go back to school, or you took some time off for a personal sabbatical to take care of somebody in your family, etc., whatever that personal reason may be, it's okay to have like an end date and then have some time in between before you started a new job. We understand as recruiters that job searching takes time. We understand that life happens and not everybody has this long succession of employment, and that's okay. It's completely okay. But again, if there is a pattern and it's really evident, then that's when I would recommend that you maybe take off the months and just leave the years. As recruiters, we do have kind of a red flag of like, what is this person hiding? And so again, in the interview, you'll have a chance to explain what that's all about, but at least on the resume, it will be good for you to kind of get through to that stage of interviewing to be able to have the opportunity to explain. Now, if your employment gaps are a minority versus the majority in this bigger picture of your employment history, then you can absolutely include the month and the year to the month and the year for your employment history. And you might even want to put in parentheses your reason for leaving, unless it was involuntary, meaning that you had performance issues, you were fired for misconduct, and so forth. But if your reason for leaving was, again, any of those voluntary reasons, including getting a severance package or being laid off or being redundant in the workforce, then you can go ahead and include that as a reason, and it's not going to raise a red flag. Now let's talk about the interview question when asked, why did you leave these positions and what were you doing during this time? So what we're really looking for here is a positive response. So whether you were taking personal time off and how did that end on a positive note, or what were you doing during this time that allowed you to further your skills, your experience, and your knowledge. So for instance, if your reason for voluntarily resigning was because you needed to take care of an elder family member, you can state that and The positive that you would add to that is letting them know that that matter has since been resolved, and here's what you've been doing to get your foot back into the workforce, and you are very much ready for this next chapter. Now, if you were let go because of redundancy in the workforce, or just the company was dissolving, for instance, you can absolutely share what you've been working on in the interim. So you could share, for instance, when this happened, I really took some time to assess what I'm looking for in my next chapter. And again, you want to align yourself to the position in the company that you're interviewing for right now, but still maybe sprinkle in some of the skills that you've been learning or brushing up on, or the courses that you've been taking, or the books and the podcasts you've been reading, to get yourself really familiar with any of the latest updates and the regulations, the industry knowledge, the landscape, as it has changed since your last employment. The bottom line here is that employment gaps really are not a big deal unless you make them a big deal. The most important thing is to really highlight and focus on the positives. And if for any reason you were let go involuntarily because it was performance related, it was misconduct, etc., you just really want to take ownership of that situation, and you might want to state it without going into all the details, just at a high level overview of what occurred and what you learned from it and what you're looking for next. Employers want to know at the end of the day how you have positively showed up for yourself. What is that positive attitude that you can bring to the table? How is it that you've demonstrated you've maximized and utilized that time period wisely to continue forth to where you are today and where you want to be in the future? I want to end this video by sharing that I've worked with job seekers in the past who have had, 1 year unemployment gaps, 2 years unemployment gaps, including currently, and yet they are able to land their dream positions, and a lot of them actually jumped into senior roles that were higher than the position that they previously left, and even doubled their salaries. So don't worry about something that's happened in the past and just think like, this is my past or present circumstance. Whatever your goals are in the future, you can work towards that, and you can obtain that regardless of what is in your employment history or written on your resume currently. This is really the power and the beauty of being able to reinvent yourself and have your story ready, have your personal branding ready, and really being able to connect and align yourself to that future position. If you at all are interested, by the way, in learning more about job search strategies and just getting comprehensive, holistic support, I'll go ahead and link down the programs down below to guide you through the entire process and take out the guesswork, because I truly believe that everybody has the potential to land their dream jobs. We just might need a reframe in our mindsets, and we might need a new strategy and approach. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, because I'm releasing this video next week, and I can't wait for you to continue cultivating your life and your career.